Riot, riot, riot! That was the motto of all demonkind after an extermination. Most was destroyed, many gang bosses were wiped out, and overlords had an easy time making deals. But this was also your time. You were a professional rider, hired by overlords to cause as much damage as possible, maim as many as possible, and most importantly, secure loot. Now that the extermination clock was set to 6 months instead of 12, the riots had continued well beyond their usual length, meaning more money for you. You carelessly crushed a skull beneath your palms as you walked confidently through the cracked streets, an aura of pain and misery around you. Usually, someone as dignified as you would not dare to leave home, but you reveled in it. All thanks to the abilities granted to you through deals. While you weren't a deal maker per se, there was a specific clientele that desired your services. Tonight, you worked for one of the V's. You enjoyed great privileges from the three overlords, creating chaos for Vox, dressed to impress for Velvet, and most importantly, securing rare bottles of booze for Valentino for his collection. And it just so happened, the current center of violence just so happened to be right where the pimp boss of hell was getting his favorite liquor that he only drank during very special occasions. Oftentimes so special he only drank it once a year. Ironically though was the fact that, even though it was only sold at very few stores, it was incredibly cheap. Probably so cheap, the reason he so rarely drank it was because he felt as if he was above it. Whatever the reason, at least securing one bottle was your mission, while using your powers to harm as many demons as possible, and of course looking good for any cameras. Right now you're dressed in a beautiful dark green dress, with long black pumps and a beautiful collection of silver accessories. Additionally, you wore a black satchel around your hip for the loot you were sent to collect. Normally, something as expensive as your getup would be the same as a self-deletion attempt, but it was such a striking image that it was burned into everyone's memory. 3 large demons were in the store that was your target. The roof had collapsed, and they were quaffing bottles like there was no tomorrow. You narrowed your eyes and kicked the door open. They turned around to face you.
That Charles is a bitch for entertainment.
The first one stepped closer. He was a giant mountain of muscles. He flexed before you.
Like what you see, little slut? Come here for daddy's protection?
You raised an eyebrow with disgust. Snapping the fingers of your right hand, you created a green orb behind him, floating somewhere above his neck.
Chains behind you,
muttered one of them concerned. The muscle-bound demon turned around. You held up your left hand. 5 seconds.
What?
5 seconds before I flail your skin. 5 seconds you can leave. This, of course, net you an instant punch to the face, but as his hand made contact with you, there was merely a gust of wind that you felt, and it made your hair a little messy. Ah! The monstrous demon jumped back, holding up his broken hand.
What the fuck?
You crossed your arms. 3 seconds. The green orb pulsated dangerously, and the demon's 2 companions ran off through the back door of the store. But he only saw red. With no abandon, he punched you in the face again and again, with so much force, every time he pushed you back just by a millimeter. With an annoyed expression, you rubbed your left cheek. That one almost hurt. 2 seconds. 1, 0. A beam shot out of the orb, hitting the giant in the back. He screamed like a butchered pig. With horror, he watched the color of his body fade, his muscles shrinking as his body dried out. He fell on his knees, nothing more than a skeleton with a layer of skin wrapped around it. But that didn't matter to you. Snapping your fingers again, the orb vanished. Too bad there were no cameras. With a curious expression you now searched the leftover shelves of alcohol. Your long fingers tapping against the unharmed bottles. Until... you grabbed one of them. It was pink in a heart-shaped bottle. Exactly what Val wanted. Though a quick search of the remains of the building showed that this was the last one. Narrowing your eyes, you secured it in the satchel. Now you were on a timer. Since there was just one bottle left, this meant that if this one broke, your mission would be a failure. And you were not risking your reputation with the V's over something as silly as this stupid alcohol. You were surprisingly common for how powerful they were, a race of violence demons called corpse makers. Most of your kind were bound to the rough layer, however. So you posed quite the threat. Your skin was grey, with long, voluminous white hair, and you had long, spiky ears, similar to the mythical depiction of a dark elf. Your eyes glowed in a beautiful green whenever you used your powers. With the bottle secured, you stepped outside, making your way straight out of the danger zone. Using your abilities, you managed to dodge most of the rioters, killing a couple of them as well. Except for one of them. It was a stupid little Cyclops creature. She managed to run up on you and jumped, trying to stab you with a long needle. Skillfully you dodged, creating 4 after images through which she fell on the ground. You chuckled, about to end her miserable life by stomping on her head, when, from behind, a searing pain hit you in the hip, then back, and finally, the neck. It was so quick you didn't even feel pain. After only a single croak, you fell forward into the mud. The noise of glass shattering indicating that the goddamn booze bottle was destroyed. You grunted, turning one hand into a fist. Damn it. You had been too focused on snuffing out that tiny thing that you forgot to protect your rear. Nifty, there you are! Your eyes turned upwards. That was the only thing you could move. And you puffed up your cheeks. It was angel dust. That little fuck toy of Valentino. What the hell was he doing here? Damn it. He was too busy handling the little hellspawn, he didn't notice you. And so you watched him walk away. Cyclops thrown over his shoulder. She waved her needle at you, threateningly. God damn it. How you wanted to twist her little neck. While your power was comparable to that of an overlord, you nowhere near had the regeneration ability. It took hours for your body to regain its ability to move. Gnashing your teeth, you pulled out the projectiles that had been thrown at you, only to realize they were Sharp metal playing cards. A two of clubs, a queen of spades, and a goddamn joker. Ironically, it had been the joker card that had severed your spine, making you unable to move. You sat there, staring at the cards with so much rage they glowed red, almost melting in your hands. There was only one demon crazy enough to throw these around during a riot, and only one demon crazy enough to throw them at you. And how dare he do this to you? Kicking away the satchel of the destroyed bottle, you called your boss. Hey, Void baby, how's it going? Have you got my drink? I did, but some runt broke the last bottle. What? I need information. I'm hunting that spider down. As mad as Valentino was, he knew you well enough that punishing you would be a waste of time, and he hated that about you. If you weren't delivering results most of the time, he'd find a way to dispose of you permanently. The problem was, you were very pain tolerant, and the last time you disappointed him, roughly 5 years ago, you didn't even as much as flinch as he put you in one of his guru flicks. Though you had to admit, witnessing a live skinning without the victim screaming once was quite arousing. Plus, you were too protective of your soul, so that was also a no-no. You're such a wild card, and he enjoyed that. Tell you what, Void baby, I just put this under a one-time hiccup, but if this happens again, I'll have your head. Of course, you hissed. Now you wanted information of an arachnid nature? Your stupid boy toy was there with some cyclops that was in my way. Valentino hissed. Angel. Yes, angel dust. I was set with these playing cards, just as I was going to crush his little friend's skull. Valentino smacked his lips. He is residing at the Hazbin Hotel, baby. It's some rundown place, way below his pay grade. Oh, and Void, before you hang up. Yes? Don't rearrange his face, alright? It makes a lot of money and is quite pretty up close. Got it? Your right eye twitched as you heard him lustfully lick his lips. Also, the radio demon is residing in that hotel. Vox said a little sissy fit about it. Not sure why. Seems like something beneath him, but if you don't want to be eaten, you better don't break his toys as well. You growled. What's wrong, Void? The radio demon is the reason I'm doing that stupid job in the first place. Angrily, you threw your phone against the nearby ruined wall, shattering it. Meanwhile, Valentino chuckled to himself, taking a drag from a cigarette. Someone's fired up. Too bad she doesn't want to be in my movies. She'd make me millions. It was late in the evening when you arrived at the hotel. Wasn't as run down as you expected, at least from the outside. The gate was open. Good. You didn't have a lockpick. Atop a balcony you saw Alistair the radio demon. He was sipping a cup of tea. Oh, Void, darling, he shouted down at you as he waved. What brings you here? I'm here for the cat, you growled. He leaned against the railing with a smug smile. Oh, really now? He tilted his head. But Void, he's my property. One of the playing cards slammed onto the balcony just below his feet after you threw it. Oh, I see. In that case, I let you do whatever you want with him. Just don't kill him. You should be at the bar. Have fun, darling. Confused, you tilted your head. His smile was all you needed to understand. The radio demon already knew why you were here. He just wanted to make sure you knew that he knew. You scoffed and waltzed through the door unchallenged by him. Few demons were present. Little blonde one in red clothes. The stupid spider and... Husk! You barked.
Shit, she found me.
Quickly you walked forward as the cat demon tried to run away. Wait. That was the blonde girl. She had grabbed Husk by his neck. But she was also stretching out her other hand to make you stop. By now you had become so angry you had turned into your more demonic form. In it, you grew a razor-sharp devil tail that swished and cut through the air with an endless fury, and your right arm elongated, becoming so monstrous you needed to drag it behind yourself. Your fingernails turning so sharp they could cut diamonds. Okay. The blondie was obviously trying to calm the situation. Her hand pressed against your stomach as you tried to keep going, but no matter with how much strength you put behind your steps, she wouldn't budge. Huh. She wasn't just some random demon then. Otherwise, you have just walked over her.
Charlie, you said you'd hide me,
complained Husk. I said I'd deal with the situation. The girl, apparently Charlie, turned to you. Hi, I'm Charlie Morningstar. Nice to make your acquaintance. She held out her hand for you to shake. You blinked down at her. That name did ring a bell. Damn it, why didn't Valentino tell you the daughter of Satan was here? You took a step back, placing your left hand over your right shoulder as you heaved. Okay, good. Now, can someone please tell me the entire story? Husk, I know your point of view. What about yours? Void, right? You narrowed your eyes. What kind of game is this? Charlie blinked. Husk, what's her game? You ordered, and the cat sighed.
Oh, that's just how she is. You have to deal with it. Or you can just leave. That would work. For me.
Your attention returned to Charlie. I was working under contract with Valentino. I was supposed to retrieve a bottle of alcohol, and that winged flea bag knocked me the fuck out and broke the goddamn bottle. Okay. How about we have a little sit down and talk about this? As violently mad as you were, in presence of a demon as powerful as Charlie, there was no arguing. Returning to your normal form, you sat down on the hotel's lobby sofa, arms crossed, and looking away with an angry scowl. Charlie sighed. She could tell you didn't calm down at all and were just swallowing it. But it was a start. Okay, so, Has told me your name is Void. That's how I know it. It's a very pretty name. You deadpanned. Okay, let's, talk about what happened exactly. As I said, I was there because Valentino wanted some booze. From the riot zone. As a professional rioter, I was perfect for the job. Vox wanted some destruction anyways. Bigger number, bigger stories. Okay, and this little goblin stepped in my way and tried to stab me with a needle. Nifty. You blinked at Charlie's interruption. This Nifty stepped in my way, tried to stab me. About to crush her skull, these playing cards knocked me out. You threw them on a nearby coffee table, your blood still at their edges. Okay, good. This is a good start. We were actually having a little trust exercise in the riot zone. My girlfriend Veggie suggested it. But are you certain it was Husk? Look at the flea bag. He knows he was it. The cat shook his head.
She knows, Charlie.
I'm just here to let my anger out. A little fun exercise. Alistair gave us okay. Okay, I may be wrong here, but it seems like you two maybe have history, otherwise you wouldn't have come here so quickly. You closed your eyes. Of course we have. I used to work for him. Wow, this is getting hilarious, chuckled Angel Dust, pointing a finger at the spider. You growled. Be happy Val wants your pretty face to stay that way. But empty threats still were empty threats, so he just laughed them off. I'm a corpse maker. We have a reputation to uphold, you said. I see. Well, we can just use this as... I see. Well, we can use this as a jumping off point. We write that down somewhere. I don't have a notepad right now. What did you do for him when you worked for him?
I really don't want to talk about that,
Grunted Husk.
At least not with the porn star around.
Fine. It was getting boring anyways. You watched as the spider demon walked up the stairs. The noise of a door slamming indicating that he was out of the picture. So, Husk, Void, what was your relationship like?
She was my bodyguard.
And girlfriend?
And girlfriend.
Until he gambled away everything. Husk scratched the back of his head in embarrassment. I see. After he signed Alice's contract, he just poofed away, leaving everyone else to fend for themselves. And after years of no contact, the first thing he does is sever my goddamn spine. It was in this moment Charlie suppressed a grin, though she didn't know why. I see. Would you have preferred if he said something before severing your spine? I suppose. Husk, and you, I feel like now is the time you say something. Charlie mouthed the words, "Say I'm sorry." Reluctantly, the cat inhaled deeply.
Void, I'm sorry I killed you.
Sorry? As if that fixes the booze. Encouragingly, Charlie nodded towards Husk. He groaned and forced a gentle smile.
Void, I have quite the selection of liquors. Maybe I got it.
Charlie clapped her hands excitedly. Technically, Husk wasn't a guest for redemption, but he clearly picked up a few things here and there. And she was so proud of him for it. Though despite his effort, Charlie could smell the bloodlust around you. This helped, sure, but very barely. She knew any wrong move would lead to you doing something that can only be described as stupid. Don't patronize me. There it was. Charlie almost jumped. No. He isn't patronizing you, okay? No one is. We're just here to help. I mean, we're here to fix the problem we caused. We're super sorry. I mean, can you... I don't know... think about how he was your boyfriend. Yeah, there must be some feelings still, right? Just trust him. You deadpanned as you looked at her. For a moment, the air was filled with tension. You could practically be cut with a knife. The stuff is some cheap booze. He is too embarrassed to admit he is drinking. Val, I mean. But it's only sold at like 3 places because it's vile. It's basically just sugar water with enough alcohol to knock out an elephant. Husk snorted, which earned him an evil glare from you.
Sorry. A cheap bottle. Maybe.
You blinked.
Oh, of course, you can have it for...
No, it was Charlie who glared at him.
Free. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Maybe a drink on me to calm the nerves.
You looked at the cat. He scratched the back of his head reluctantly.
In the state I am in, you're more powerful than me. I have the feeling Alistair would let you do to me whatever you want. So this is the only stuff I can offer.
You exhaled through your nose, long and slowly, almost like a deflating bouncy castle. Charlie was honestly impressed with your lung capacity. For a moment you just sat there, not breathing at all. This little meditation allowed you to think quicker, and most of all, release anger quicker. Charlie could feel the aura of violence around you getting lighter, though not leaving entirely. According to Husk, before you came, you had been not only his lover, but also that you were like a lioness, easily made angry, quick on your feet, and just as out for blood as you were cuddly, like a kitten, when you were just in the right mood. You combined so much wrath in you that it almost overshadowed your pride, though it seemed as if you had been boiling with rage ever since he vanished. And Husk was surprised at how much it affected him. He felt guilty, even. He turned you into this by gambling away his soul and fortune. God damn it. In this moment he wished you would have gotten him before he talked to Charlie. In his eyes he had just protected Nifty. The cards had already left his hand before he realized who he was attacking specifically. And he didn't have the guts to stick around your knocked out self to say anything. You weren't mad over the booze, or at least not entirely, he could tell. You were just mad at him for not even saying hello to you. As if the years you spent together didn't mean anything. Though in the grand scheme of things, that was the case. That's the thing with eternity, after all. Still, with some resistance from your end, you and the cat walked over to the bar. Charlie staying at the sofa, giddy. He stepped behind it as you sat down on one of the stools.
So, will you be staying?
He asked casually as he sifted through the bottles. But you didn't answer.
Fine then.
He grunted. After a few minutes, he took out a heart-shaped bottle from the fridge, finally finding it. You took it, inspecting the label. Yeah, this was it. Same red liquor requested by Valentino. You reached for your phone only to remember that you destroyed it. Sighing, you buried your face in your hands for a moment. Something was off. You felt off. Sick to your stomach, maybe. Valentino wouldn't hunt you down even if you didn't show up with the stuff. So why did you care so much? Scowling, you grabbed the bottle, but as you stormed out, Husk shouted after you.
Was nice to see you're still alive, Void.
For a moment you stopped walking before grunting, slamming the door shut behind yourself.
Trouble in paradise, darling,
mused Alistair as you walked out the gate. You slammed a bottle on the glass table in front of you. Valentino looked at you with an eager expression. With his two lower hands, he grabbed the bottle while using his upper right to put his cigarette in his mouth.
Ah, wonderful, baby.
He cuddled the bottle, his long tongue licking over the glass, leaving a red salvia. Where did you find it, baby? I thought you said it's broken. The idiot who broke the first one just so happened to have a fresh one.
So circumstances, either way, baby, Void, you did your job just as expected.
And in that dress, no less.
It
Really suits you, baby.
You should wear it more often. Sure, if Velvet pays me. Valentino laughed.
Oh, baby, I love your style, truly.
He gave you a toothy grin. You knew him well enough to know the reason he was so nice right now was because you brought the booze. If you didn't, he'd probably threaten you with all sorts of depraved stuff, in the hopes you'd start crying, or technically feel any emotion whatsoever. But in the end, you were too valuable to break. Not that they could. So, he stood up and walked over to his personal bar to deposit the bottle. Who's the lucky guy? What are you talking about? That smell. You reek of horny. And someone as dead as you only smells like that when a lover is involved. You hissed, taking a step back, offended.
So it's an ex-boyfriend. How dramatic, Void. How dramatic. Didn't even think you had the capacity for love. Or maybe an ex-girlfriend?
He turned around, spreading his arms to look at you.
What's wrong, Void?
I'm not...
Baby, you smell like a teenage girl after the jock she likes walked past her. After football practice, no less.
You didn't like how he licked his lips after saying teenage girl. He sat down dramatically on his giant pink sofa, blowing red smoke in your direction.
Sit down, baby, sit down! Love is my business after all. Please.
Reluctantly, you sat down opposite to your employer, wiping your hand to get his disgusting smoke out of your face. Husk, you growled. The guy who killed me made me break the bottle. Some former low-level overlord couple decades ago.
And were you his...
What? Side piece, main piece, one-night stand. Main. Valentino's eyes flashed deliciously, clapping his hands together.
Congratulations! Not everyone can land with an overlord, but why have I never heard of him, baby?
Your eyes glared at the moth pimp. He gambled away his soul.
Gambling overlords are such a risky business, baby. I didn't think you'd live so dangerous.
You suppressed a chuckle, but only just barely.
Yeah, you're living not dangerous. What a joke.
After selling his soul to Alistair, Valentino's shoulder floof puffed up angrily upon hearing the radio demon's name. He vanished for roughly 10 years, leaving everyone he had under contract to fend for their own without really knowing where their souls went. As for me, you summoned a small green orb to play around with in your hand. I continued doing what I do best. Kill, 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 and kill again.
But you still love him.
Valentino slapped his hands together.
You're blushing, baby.
No, I'm not. You had your face behind your hair. The truth was, you never got over the fact that you couldn't say goodbye to Husk. It prevented you from enjoying other people's company, and stopped you from making any meaningful connections. Aside from business, of course. "Why are you playing matchmaker?" you barked. And Valentino smirked in response. "Oh, I just want to see you smile. You do that so rarely, practically never." You averted your gaze. "What?" "He did say I get the bottle for free if we have a drink together." Valentino puffed a heart-shaped cloud at you. You coughed as it entered your nostrils. "Then go to him, baby. You deserve a good piping after a job well done." "I'd suggest angel dust, but he's mine, and you probably don't want to talk to him anyways." No longer able to take his crap, you got up. "Whatever," and left. But Val just grinned.
Back so soon?
Mused Alistair atop the balcony. You rolled your eyes.
"If you're looking for your boyfriend, he's at the bar."
"He isn't my boyfriend. You took him from me." Alistair hummed to himself, ignoring your comment.
"You know, darling, the only reason I'm not instantly devouring you on sight is because you could cause more damage to the hotel than necessary. Plus, the pain you cause Husk simply by being here is absolutely delightful."
Yeah, right, you thought. The lobby was luckily empty, save for the aforementioned Husk. He was lying face first on the bar, snoring loudly, half-empty bottle of cheap gin loosely in his right claw. Dignified, you sat down on the stool in front of him. Creating one of your balls, you made it fly up into his nostril, causing him seconds later to wake up with a heavy nosebleed. "Ah, what the?" He grabbed a towel, pressing against his face, his eyes immediately darting towards you.
All the weird stuff you always do to me, this little joke of yours, was always my most disliked.
You put an arm on the bar, resting your head on the palm of your hand. "Oh, really? Even when I shoved one up your butt when you lost a third of your souls in a game of poker against Zestial?"
He cheated.
You deadpanned. "No, he didn't. He was just better than you."
Are you just here to insult me?
"Perhaps. And I'm here for drinks." You offered it. Reluctantly, you grabbed a glass.
It was a figure of speech. Either way, you're planning something, Void. You never do anything without reason. And I know the sick shit you consider fun.
You narrowed your eyes as you filled it. "I wouldn't call it fun. I just call it day-to-day activities. We're in hell for a reason, after all. I just accept that reality."
You could just redeem yourself. Go to heaven.
Husk. Today alone I melted 8 demons, blew up 3 houses, and went out of my way to collect the Lord of Pim's favorite alcohol. And I died. By your hands. He gulped. "And now?" You grabbed the glass, placed against your lips, and downed the disgusting liquid in one go. Slamming the glass on the bar, you looked at him. "I'm drinking my brains out." He smiled, refilling your glass as you tapped on the wood.
I know you. You still think you can drink me under the table?
Little early for flirting, isn't it, Husk? He shrugged.
You're here for a reason, Void. You either want to scalp me, or do unspeakable things to me in bed. Probably both.
You smiled. Finally. For the first time in a very long time. You know me too well.
Getting shit-faced was the only way I survived your lovemaking.
He shivered.
I admit it.
Oh, admit it, Husk. You loved it. He put a finger over his mouth.
How many of my tongues have you swallowed?
I stopped counting. You weren't a cannibal, though eating his flesh hardly counted as cannibalism. You just liked inflicting as much pain on him as possible. And you liked that he just accepted that. As he reached for a filled glass, he put a different bottle to his lips. You wanna bang, don't you?
With you, Void? Always. Think about it. As a way to pay back all those years I was gone. After all, we never formally broke up.
Or said goodbye.
Or said goodbye.
You know you'll regret this, Husk, right? The both of you started downing shot after shot after shot. As always, alcohol was merely a mood booster for you. You didn't feel drunk at all. Not even inebriated or silly. But Husk was slowly but surely becoming a wreck. He was wobbling on his legs, with a dumb facial expression.
Man, if I could be as emotional dead as you, I'd be a happy little bitch for Alistair.
You grabbed one of his hands so tight his bone creaked it painfully. Husk winced. Yeah, but tonight, you're my bitch. With your other hand you calmed over his cheek. You gave him a very toothy grin, as dangerous as it was alluring. A loud crunch indicated that his hand was now broken. Your tongue lolled out of your mouth as you pressed your lips on his. He choked as your long, slender organ pushed down into his windpipe. No, don't choke on me, Husk. You thought. He retched, and yet his eyes rolled back at your intrusion. You let go of his mangled hand, slapping your other clawed hand against his other cheek to push his face even deeper into yours. Weakly, submissively, his own tongue licked against yours. But compared to yours, Husk's was nothing but a little shoelace. All he could think about was how your beautiful body was practically made for breeding. Too bad it was attached to the most sadistic bitch in hell. You pulled your tongue back, his desperately chasing after yours, until, with his little cat tongue now past your lips, you bit down. All his hair stood up. But you weren't gnashing or tearing. Not yet, at least. A tear rolled out of Husk's left eye. A thin line of blood drooling out of your connected lips. As its warm metallic taste embraced your tongue. Lustfully, your claws ripped over his face, only just barely cutting through his skin. The pain made him shiver with delight. Plunging your tongue back into his throat, you removed your right hand from him, elongating your fingernails, quickly swiping his chest without breaking lip contact. His suspenders were cut, as well as a thin slash across his chest, staining his white fur with blood. His back arched with pleasure and pain. smiling into you. God, if Charlie were to see this, or Angel Dust, he'd never hear the end of it. Humming, you pulled out of the cat demon. Tongue, mouth, and teeth were wet, dripping with blood and salvia.
Oh, how I missed this,
he croaked. But you didn't let him go just yet. Painfully, you gripped his chest fluff, pulling his face close to yours. I'm nowhere near satisfied, Husk. You whispered into his ear. Show me where you sleep. Thank you for watching my video until the very end. But before I clock out for tonight, I would really like to give a special thanks to all of my darling channel members. Izzy M3618, Spammy, Raylan, Death Hunt, Melofia, Muffin, Kaya Abyss, BitBit, Sleepy Town, Hella, Next Wrist, AJ Anime Girl, Aruna, Meow Meow Person, Cherry Red Bunny, D's Nuts, Nicodemus D, and Cat Cove.